Get your calculators out, folks. It's time to play. It's budget time.
First up, budget basics. Question 1. What is the federal budget? Is it A, a shopping list for the Prime Minister? B, the government's plan for how it will spend the country's money? Or C, a bird-like creature that eats gold coins? Is it B? Correct!
Yep, it's that time of year again when the government breaks down how it's going to spend the country's money. So it can pay for all the important things Australia relies on, like defence, education, health, welfare, infrastructure, and, well, a whole lot more. But paying for all those things costs hundreds of billions of dollars. So where does all the money come from?
From taxing people and businesses? Correct!
And deciding where to allocate all that money is no easy task. That's where this guy comes in. Australia's Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, who will lay out the government's plan for the year ahead.
We have delivered back-to-back surpluses for the first time in almost 2 decades. We will be printing a deficit for this year.
Did someone say surplus and deficit? That must mean it's time for Definition 2! Eric, what is a surplus? Too late.
A surplus is when the government earns more than it spends. Like it has for the past 2 years, we've seen low levels of unemployment and higher than expected coal and mineral export prices. But this time round, things are looking a little different.
To win the round, Trace, what is a deficit?
The opposite of a surplus, when the government is spending more than it's making.
Yep. The Treasurer predicts that we could be seeing a deficit not just this year, but for a while. Mining exports aren't tipped to bring in as much money. And then we've got the whole tariff thing that's happening in the US, and there are fears it could escalate into a much bigger global trade war. But for now, a lot of Aussies are worried about what's happening closer to home and are hoping there'll be support in the budget to help with the cost of living crisis.
I think everybody knows rent's a bit expensive. Power bill's going up with it, along with water.
Oh my goodness. I thinking when I retired, I don't know how I will be able to manage it.
Now for the million-dollar question. Does the fate of the budget depend on who wins the election?
The timing of all this is a little tricky. We're less than 2 months out from an election, and any budget promises made by the Labor government now might not mean much soon.
Yes? Tracy. That's correct! Different governments have different priorities, and that shapes where the money goes. Which means you've just won! It's budget time! Here's a giant novelty check. See you next year!